Hello, gang. Omni here. We got a trailer to check out today that I wanted to talk about. This is the latest in DC's animated films, kind of retreading familiar territory, at least that they've even done themselves in a prior iteration of this character. Looks like we are getting the background on the current New 52 version of Wonder Woman in their upcoming animated film, Wonder Woman Bloodlines. From what I know about this already, at least in the DC animated films, for a while were very disconnected, and then they started readapting a lot of the characters with these new 52 updates. And since then, a lot of those films have had their own connected universe, and there was a Wonder Woman origin film that came out prior to DC Animation doing this. This is the first one in the current iteration of these characters in which they're exploring Wonder Woman's origins in this version of the world. We've already seen her in The Death of Superman and Justice League War and so on, so on. She's made her appearance already, or at least she's already existed in the world that we were introduced to in these new 52 animations. But this is the first one that's going to really go. Actually, other than Throne of Atlantis, this is the first one that really, I would say, dives into one of the new 52 iterations backgrounds. Every other one, I think what was the first one? Justice League Doom or Justice League War, one of the two, I can't remember, that established this whole thing. And it's spun off from there. They didn't really go into the character's origins after they kind of reset the universe after the Flashpoint animated film. So this will be the first one, and let's go ahead and check it out. I really like this version of Wonder Woman that they've already kind of established. I'm curious to see what all this is going to explore and how different it will be from the iteration we already have in the DC animation library. Here we go.
The gods foretold of this day. When a champion from Themyscira would be called upon to protect man's world.
You're a princess, right?
Something like that.
Steve Trevor.
Diana, explain yourself.
His arrival is a sign. Man's world needs our help.
Mother.
Are you
Yeah, that's the one thing I can
willing
say
to throw
about
away everything you are?
Wonder
A mere
Woman,
chance
the
of
live
helping
action
them?
film. It was a fairly
It's
solid
what you taught me.
adaptation, at least with her origin. At least the tone and the feeling of it.
I take it deliberations are over.
It did not go well.
She's
You
so
really are
awesome.
something special, you know that?
So presumptuous.
It's been a long time.
Poison?
Gigantic.
Bigger and better, big.
I do so love mass destruction.
Poison. I don't know this.
What's the matter, princess? Feeling
Oh,
You
Cheetah.
haven't beaten me yet.
Oh,
Poison and Cyber may have declared war on Themyscira.
Cyber.
But if there's one thing Amazon
I'm not familiar with that one.
Fight a war. And it's time to fight. Show me the path to Themyscira. Show me the way home.
That wasn't the Hall of
You just had
Justice,
to wait
was
for the
it?
dramatic entrance, didn't you?
Because I would assume this
Thought you
is
liked the
before
drama.
she joined the team. That looks dope. That looks really good. Honestly, there's only been one DC animated film that I just really didn't care for all that much, and it was Batman Ninja. And like there were some elements to it I did really enjoy. It was just really out there and over the top and crazy, and okay, saying I didn't enjoy it is probably the wrong choice of words. I thought it was bad, but like entertaining. I thought it was like really entertaining. Especially with the climax, man. It just goes off the wall. I think the movie was a little bit too long for my taste. I think it would have been a little more coherent if it was a little shorter. The only DC animated film that I haven't seen yet is Gaslight. Batman by Gaslight. Gotham by Gaslight? Whatever. The Gaslight, the steampunk, old age kind of like Batman in the early industrial age kind of thing. Or I think if I remember correctly, he's like chasing like Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is kind of involved in whatever the storyline is in that. I think. Like I said, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen all of them up until this point. Aside from that, and like after the Flashpoint movie, which was the last one in the previous iteration of these characters, they still do their like standalone ones that are not connected to the New 52 storyline that they kind of set up. But post Flashpoint, I think it was with Justice League War, was really the first one where they started to tie in all of the DC animated films from that point onward. There's a through line where there is a connected universe that works effectively, much more in animation than I think it has in live action. They know we know the characters, they know we know the origins, and they don't really spend a lot of time wasting our time with that kind of thing, trying to retread all these stories and stuff. So they just jump right into it. Also considering that a lot of these characters already had some kind of origin story kind of story told in the previous, let's say, pre-Flashpoint era that they established in here as well. So it's been fairly consistent. All the Batman ones are really great. I love the new stories they have with Damian. This iteration on Wonder Woman is one of my favorites. I love the classic Wonder Woman. I think she's great the way she is, but I think a lot of the things that they did with the new 52 version, and the version that's in these animated films, that she's been a very strong force in it in a very interesting way. Like her relationship with Clark, as that dynamic, and as a team, Batman included, they really feel like a family, and I love the dynamic there, and that's why I'm kind of curious about this one being the first one that really would kind of set itself out of the timeline, because right now they've all kind of been very chronological, going in a straight, what's the word I'm looking for, linear timeline. So if this one is going back to how she gets to the States, how she joins the US, how she becomes a force for mankind, to, save us from ourselves or from whatever this great destruction is. In the original one, it was, of course, Ares, which they did in the movie as well. But this one seems to be a whole bunch of her known arch enemies. Cheetah definitely looking crazy. I am a fan of the actual humanoid cheetah version of Cheetah, which I don't think we're actually going to get in 1984. I think we're going to be going as the human who goes by the name Cheetah. And I don't know. I like something about the crazy cat lady who's super fast with her claws and stuff. It actually poses more of a threat to Wonder Woman. And then we have Giganta, Poison, and Cyber. I'm not familiar with Cyber, and I'm not too sure who the woman with the metal wings is. So who knows? There's always a lot of characters that I'm still not in the loop on. There's just so many comic book characters out there that exist that it's just hard to keep track of so many of them, and especially a lot of the ones that are really kind of trying to pull into the forefront, that give some light to a lot of the more obscure ones that a lot of people don't know about. At least with Super Friends, Justice League, and all that kind of stuff, Cheetah is very familiar with a lot of people. Same with Giganta. Poison was in the live action, the Gal Gadot film. In there, that character was in that movie. But those other two, I don't. That was the first time I'd heard of that character myself. So yeah, I mean, it looks great as always. The animations are very strong in their art style. I love it. They are always top tier. And what I love about the DC animated universe is they're straight to DVD, they're straight to Blu-ray and digital. Though they do have some special events where you can catch them in theaters. I know me and my friends, we saw a twofer for Death of Superman and Reign of Superman, which is kind of a two-part movie series that they did in this same timeline. And it was fantastic. It was amazing, and it just shows the shortcomings of Batman v Superman, on what they could have done in a world that actually would have missed Superman if something happened. So if you want to see a better version of that, go check that out. It's really good. It's definitely better than the animated Death of Superman that came out many, many years ago. Much better than that version. They, of course, is their second attempt at doing this in animation, but this one is definitely better, and they go into the Reign of the Superman arc, and I think it plays out really well with this iteration of the characters and the timeline they've created. Much better, very emotional, great animation. The thing about DC's animated unit is they, like I said, what I was trying to get into with the fact that they don't release on a network or on a platform necessarily because they're straight to the public, they're able to do a lot of more mature kind of things in there involved. There's a lot more mature themes. There's blood. There's a lot of it's more geared for the adult fan. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there too that they don't go like Game of Thrones level, but there's gore, there's decapitations, there's violence, there's sexual innuendos out the wazoo. There's all kinds of content for adults. Not like it's just thrown in there to be gratuitous, but like they let the characters be themselves, be human, have those kind of those desires. They don't shy away from like the fact that these are people, and I like that. The worlds are gritty. The villains take out people. Even with the recent Batman v Ninja Turtles, the Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, like Ra's al Ghul cuts a dude's arm and head off, like a security guard, lobs his arm off, decapitates him to use his head or his eye for a scanner or some. Wait, no, he decapitated him and then cut off his arm after the guy was dead and used it as a thing. And the Shredder and his Foot Clan was getting mutilated by the Turtles. Not like crazy, over the top, gory, but like in a tasteful kind of way. All I'm saying is like they don't treat this material like it is for babies, is essentially what I mean. And I always love and appreciate that with these films over any of the other animated films I've seen across the other studios in different formats. Marvel's animation, for the most part, I just haven't gotten into a lot of it. I don't really like a lot of the Marvel animations. They're all kind of weird. The Hulk verses or the Wolverine verses was interesting. I liked those. But I think where DC's really struggling to get their live action stuff, at least movie wise, they are doing so much better, such much better work in their animated unit. In their comic storylines currently, their animated storylines currently, and their TV storylines currently, I think are doing really well. And it's only been up until Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam that the films have started to kind of lean into that direction. Now having some direction, thanks to Jeff Johns being more hands-on involved in WB for the production of these. So maybe going forward, we'll start to see some better live action films. But if you want a better live action film, go check out Marvel, because all of those are great. But if I definitely, the DC's animated department has not been lacking in any way, at least to my taste. So that's my thoughts on this. I'm really excited to check this out. I know Batman Hush just hit stores. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to go check that out. Maybe I'll have a review for that up later this weekend or something like that if you guys are interested. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? What are your favorite DC animated shows, films, any of that? I think personally my all-time favorite, I think like the generic basic answer is Batman Mask of Phantasm, and it is so good. I really like Flashpoint, I gotta say. I think right now, at least like current memory, I think the Flashpoint animated movie is one of my favorites. Just seeing Thomas Wayne and gun-toting like Batman is just, man, I really wish we would have got Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing that, but I don't think we're going to be getting that role with the direction that DC live action is now moving into, but we'll see. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. We've talked I've rambled for the most part. If you're still here, thank you for listening to me. But yeah, if you like this, if you like this, support the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you didn't like it, let me know in the comments what you didn't like. Share your opinions, your thoughts. We'll carry on the conversation. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you guys. Take care.